Hi guys, welcome to Lovecast, the BL podcast reviews, where today we are sitting down to review GMMTV's super sweet Idol BL Only Boo. And with me today, I have my fellow hosts, Pixie and Kayla.
Yay.
Hi.
Yay! Woo! So I know this is one I think most of us really enjoyed, but before we get into the meat of our review, I'm going to go through the general synopsis. So Only Boo focuses on Kang, who sells curry rice at a high school, and Moo is a grade 12 student who dreams of becoming an idol. He gets transferred to the school where Kang sells curry rice, and that's how they meet. He splits his time between hitting on Kang and training to become an idol. He simultaneously wants love and to realize his dream, but it seems he cannot have it when debuting comes with the caveat that relationships are forbidden. It was 12 episodes, about 45 minutes each, and it is available for most places, I believe, on GMMTV's YouTube channel. So yeah, I mean, I love this show. I don't
I
I don't
I
know.
I,
Me
I
too.
this show was my entire personality when it was airing.
Same.
And look, dude, I don't normally like super fluffy stuff, but
Mhm.
oh, I was saying while watching this, I was just like, it's so refreshing to watch a show where someone is just like so in your face with the flirting. Like
Mhm.
it's really, like, it really shows that like he really likes him, and like I love them like generally showing that they like someone instead of
Mhm.
shyness or whatever. We have enough shyness.
Mhm.
No,
Mhm.
I am. Oh.
Yeah. I think I didn't start the show until it was like 3 or 4 episodes in, and I remember like Pixie had been talking about it, and um a lot of the people like in our Discord server
Obsessed.
had been talking about it, but I was like, okay, if Pixie likes the super sweet high school romance BL, then they must be doing something right. And I binged through the first 3 episodes so fast.
Mhm.
Like, I think I did it
Mhm.
all in one sitting. And then I was just like waiting for the week by week. But yeah, I agree. I think Moo as a character being someone who is just like so endearingly like in your face, yes, but not in a way that's like obnoxious or annoying. Like,
Mhm.
he wears his heart on his sleeve, and that's
Yeah.
him with his feelings for Kang, him with his dream of
Mhm.
becoming an idol, him with literally everyone he meets. um I think he was just such a refreshing character to have the show like kind of be from his point of view.
Mhm.
And I just had so much fun watching it each week, and
Yeah.
it was just good old wholesome. Like, I have said this before, I think GMMTV can do the high school romance really well.
Mhm.
And I said this about 23.5, which was kind of airing at the same time. Only Boo and My School President, I think, are like 3 examples of them like just really excelling at that sweet high school rom-com format. It's like when they
Yeah.
get it right, they just get it really right. And this was an
Yeah.
example of them getting it
I
really right,
mean,
I think.
Mm.
if you ask me to describe this show, I wouldn't even could like say that it's like a school thing, because
Mm,
I think that it had so little to do with actual plot wise. Like, we've always been saying that one of the reasons why high school shows are like, we're tired of them, is because like they make it the entire plot that it's in the high
mm,
school. But here it's just like an accessory. Like, it's just where they are. Like, that's their age, that's where they're at. But it doesn't overtake the plot.
mm-hmm,
And it's so refreshing. I just how this story was written, so it was so good. Like, there are some issues with like there's with every show, but in general, like the plot and just how they set everything up, and the characters are so endearing in their differences. And especially Mo as a character, he starts out like a very doesn't take responsibility, really. Like, he doesn't he's very carefree. He doesn't take
Mm-hmm.
responsibility. He doesn't like he doesn't care. He's got his goals. He's gonna go for it and doesn't care about anything else. But you see him grow into himself and
Mm-hmm.
evolve as a person, that doesn't isn't necessarily um, because of his relationship, but more because of his feelings for this person and realizing his responsibilities in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I just it's very well written.
Yeah. I love how this series shows them in like different stages of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Like, first, they're in high school. They're very, like, still very childish in a lot of
Mm-hmm.
ways, very naive and very just like hopeful. And then you kind of see it start to take a turn whenever Moo is realizing that the idol life has a lot of asterisks that come with it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more rules than he's used to. And then you have both of them going to university, moving away from like home and all of this stuff. And it's just like so good at every point, just like watching them grow together
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
as characters in these different settings. Like, I
Yeah.
think that's seriously like one thing that I really love about this show is that we see them put in different settings, like physically
Mm-hmm.
and then like in terms of just like stages of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think they did a good job of showing how the stakes were different at different points in their lives. Like,
Mm-hmm.
for example, like when they were in high school, okay, Moo's big focus was I need to pass grade 12 so that I can audition to become an idol. And those were his stakes. And,
Mm-hmm.
there were elements of him learning to be responsible for his schoolwork and being influenced by, like you said, Pixie, not because of his relationship, but because he felt so strongly for Kang and wanted
Mm-hmm.
to improve himself to be someone who
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say he
His
felt was
word.
worthy of Kang,
Mm-hmm.
but like kind of like someone who was on the same level. I don't know if the way I'm saying that makes sense either. But like he wanted to be better because he wanted to present a better mood to Kang and like do that
Mm-hmm.
before they were in a relationship.
Mhm.
Um and then we see them move into university where Moo is now training as an idol. And he's put in stakes of a different level where, like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, he's in a situation where his career actually hinges on some of the decisions that he's making. And he comes to realize that he can't necessarily take things in the super lighthearted Moo fashion that he's always
Mm-hmm.
taken things. Like
Mm-hmm.
his solutions for the problems aren't gonna work in this situation,
Yeah.
and so they show
Mhm.
him having to learn that, but also like he doesn't ever lose his Moo personality. Like he
Mm-hmm.
is still like the same bright person that wears his heart on his sleeve all throughout the show, all through the very
Yeah.
end. But like they show him evolving to present that in a way that fits for where he
Yeah.
is at in his life. And then I think with Kang, who is someone who starts the show very jaded, he has a lot of trauma. He blames himself for
Mm-hmm.
his father's death. He gave up his dreams for his family. We see him kind of becoming someone who can more wear his heart on his sleeve as the show goes on because
Mm-hmm.
he was influenced by Moo in that way, seeing
Mm-hmm.
Moo be so unabashed in his feelings for Kang and for his dreams, allow Kang to kind of let himself indulge in things that he has not for the past 2 years, where he's kind of just been taking on this responsibility that he feels to provide for his mom and
Yeah.
like keep their job afloat. And we kind of see him kind of through the different stages of their relationship and through, you know, choosing to go back to uni and pursue art again. Kind of, we see
Mm-hmm.
him becoming someone who is more sure of himself and more open
Mm-hmm.
about his feelings. And yeah, I just think they did a great job of like showing the trajectory of two characters both
Mm-hmm.
as individual people but also like how that like shaped their relationship and
Yeah.
how the relationship shaped the decisions that they made.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
I really loved how they did it with like Mo being put to like basically Sophie's choice. Like he has to decide between love or his career.
Mm-hmm.
And and in like I feel in older BLs you'll often see that, oh, we do everything for love, right? So fuck work. Let's just be happy on air and love. But like him actually like taking the choice, whatever, like because it was his choice. Like Kang was kind of pushing it along, but in the end he made Moo made his own choice
Mm-hmm.
to actually work
Mm-hmm.
and get that career before they could have that relationship. And it's the first time you see him really really holding himself back and not being too impulsive like he tends to be. He's a
Mm-hmm.
very react then think
Mm-hmm.
person. So you see the growth along with just um it's just I just love that you're not giving everything up for love.
Mm-hmm.
And some relationships work even if you're not there 24/7, like long distance can work. Um and all that, like your love doesn't diminish if you don't see that partner for a year,
Mm-hmm.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, no, I agree. I think especially at the end, which I guess this is kind of jumping ahead, but like what you were saying, with Moo choosing his career, there was this moment I think where he was like, okay, well, if I have to give up being an idol to be with Kang, then I'll do it. And that was very much
Mm,
him thinking, having like his react first and then think later.
mm,
And I think that was when, obviously that was when Kang had to kind of step in and be like, no, I'll take the step back from this
yeah.
relationship because I know you and you won't do it on your own. But then we see it
Mm,
come full circle after the
mm,
time jump where Moo is figuring out on his own how to do both basically.
mm-hmm,
He says, okay, like I'm going to re-sign this contract with you guys, but if I'm going to do that, can we discuss the no dating clause?
mm-hmm.
And that was him like approaching it in a very mature manner, I think,
Yeah.
being like, he
Mhm.
wasn't like, I won't resign the contract if you're not going to let me date Kang, but he was like, okay,
Mm,
I've done this much for you guys over this past year of our contract. I want to resign with you, but if I'm going to do it, can we discuss this aspect of the
mm-hmm,
contract? And lo and behold, like the CEO guy or whatever was like, okay, which, hey, it worked. But like, I think it went to show just like how Moo grew and learned to kind of navigate going down the middle instead of just having to choose one
mm,
or the other, which I think in his brain previously it was in like the situation he was presented with was it's very much either it's love or it's my dream. And I think for a while
mm,
that's how Kang saw it too, because he was being influenced by all of these other people in Moo's life that were telling him like that was the only option. Like you have to leave Moo so he can achieve his dream, basically. But it was
mm,
nice to kind of see it come full circle in the end that like he did not have to choose, and neither did Kang. Like he also got to go back to art school and have his dream, but also did not
mm-hmm,
have to give up on his own feelings for Moo because he felt like that was what was best for him, which he did
mm,
originally, if that makes sense.
mm-hmm,
Even though this series has to get into, like, I guess, idol industry politics a little bit, I really like that it doesn't go that deep with it
mm,
because uh, generally I feel like this show is very lighthearted even
yeah.
when they broke
Mm-hmm.
up.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm,
Um, and I like the good vibes
mm-hmm,
that it has. And
yeah.
I feel like I was never really like hungry for them to like add more or get more
Mm-hmm,
into whatever they went. Like I was okay with what they gave us, if that makes
yeah.
sense, with
Yeah.
the
Mm-hmm.
story.
Yeah. I mean, they had great chemistry. The plot was great. Just like the balance of emotions and pining, and everything was just, and I love that they didn't make a big deal out of intimacy, right? If you know what I mean. Like they obviously they had the whole deal that, okay, we're not gonna kiss before then and then and then, but that's normal. Like, he's a high school kid. That is very normal to what life should be. But they weren't sensationalizing the intimacy. It was just very subtle.
It felt like a very natural progression of two
Yes.
people who were in
Mm.
their like first ever relationship. Like I think especially like with that second kiss, the one that like they
Mm-hmm.
had on Moo's bed when he first
Mm-hmm.
moved to his new apartment, where like they both came out of it and they were like, okay, that was a lot. Like
Mm-hmm.
I like this, but I felt like it was moving very fast.
Yeah.
And okay, maybe for now we just stick to doing this and this.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't, it didn't really ever come back. I mean, obviously they had their kiss in the end. But I think for them trying to like approach like two young people trying to experience intimacy in their first relationship, I think that one in particular, like that second kiss, I thought that they like wrote that very well, and it felt very natural but also very mature of
Yeah.
them kind of being able to step back and be like, okay, we just made out for the first time, that was a lot for both of us, how do you feel about it, where do we go from
Mm-hmm.
here. I really like that scene, and like particularly like the conversation that they had afterwards, because I felt
Yeah.
like it really highlighted, especially with Moo being someone who wears his heart on his sleeve, like
Yeah.
you know, Ken kind of freaks himself out, and then Moo was like, okay, no, we're gonna talk about like how he felt about this, where do we
Yeah.
go from here, and like he kind of like encourages Kang to like speak about his feelings on the manor and stuff like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
think their approach to like the intimacy between them felt, it was very cheeky at times, you know, like Moo was always
Mm-hmm.
playing for his little kiss and his little
Yeah.
kisses on the cheek or whatever, but also like I think they approach it in a way that felt very true to like young teens, and like Kang was
Mm-hmm.
what, 20, so like an 18 and a 20-year-old or whatever, like who have not ever been with another person before, kind of
Mm-hmm.
navigating that together. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I really
And
like
it,
that.
you know, weirdly for me, like one of the scenes that really sticks with me as very intimate too was like Kang daydreaming, Mo singing to him.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, that scene's just stuck really with me, and just like the intimacy in that, like nothing really happens, right? But it's very intimate. I'm just
Yeah, they had like really good intimate moments. Like that also made me think of the one where they were slow dancing on the roof.
mm,
And it was like I think, was it when Moo had failed the audition initially and thought he was gonna have to move to Australia or wherever the fuck his dad was. And like they were slow dancing and like Moo was getting emotional, but like they were having this conversation about like how they would make long distance work, and like they were like getting
mm,
physically closer to each other, but also like it was a moment of them like being emotionally vulnerable with each other. So yeah, I think they did a really good job of navigating like maybe it was like their natural chemistry, maybe it was, I don't know, you know, the intimacy director that they had on set, but I just felt like the moments between them felt very natural and felt very like on par for the characters that they were portraying.
yeah.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Do we
their
talk?
affection was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I love that scene, and I think we see it at the very beginning, but it actually happens later on wherever Moo like runs to his audition that he's late to, and then he runs
He's
back.
like, I need a
And it's like,
hug.
actually, I'm gonna hug.
Yeah.
Like, those are the parts that really hooked me on it, is just like how cute they are together. Not
Mm-hmm.
so much like the intimate parts, but just like the
Mm-hmm.
ones where, honestly, like the ones where Moo is just like overtly flirting and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kang is trying to
His
pretend like he's not
favorite thing.
losing
His little
Yeah.
losing his shit
eyebrow.
Yeah.
over it.
And being so loud about it, and the song when he sings him the song that he, oh god,
Oh.
it's No,
So
this
cute.
show had me obsessed, completely obsessed. Do we
Yeah.
talk about the side couple?
Yeah, I was gonna bring them up.
Mm-hmm.
Pote and Pios.
Mm-hmm.
Pios, I felt for him, like, oh my God, the yearning, the level of friends to lovers yearning. Y'all know how
Yeah.
I feel about friends to lovers,
Yeah.
and the actor's portrayal of like Pios just like being so hopelessly in love with his best friend and like watching him date all these other people and like once he like Pote finally later down the line realizes his feelings, Pios is still like freaked out by it because he's like, okay, what is going on here? I just
Mm-hmm.
felt like Pios as a character, just like, oh, I
Mhm.
put him in my pocket and I wanted to protect him. I was on the fence about Pote for
Mm-hmm.
a good chunk of it. I do think I came around to him more once they were out of high
Oh, dude,
school.
he's a douche in the beginning.
He was a dick in the beginning, and I didn't think he was like a super great friend even to Pios, let
No,
alone
not
like
at all.
as a
Very
romantic
self-centered.
interest. But I think he did kind of with the introduction of what's Louis's character, Jang?
Jang, yeah.
Jang, with the
Mhm.
introduction of him, I feel like that kind of was obviously the catalyst that kind of knocked some sense into Pote and made him a
Yeah.
bit more aware of how he'd been treating Pios. And I think Moo also called him out on that at one point too. And he was
Yeah.
like, you should treat Pios better
I
because like
mm-hmm.
you don't deserve him, basically.
They were calling
Mm.
each other out like
Yeah.
left and right in this show. I love the communication. No, oh God, yeah, I hated him in the beginning. I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about this. But I do think like the fact that they made my thoughts turn around by the end of this
Mm-hmm.
just shows how well the
Mm-hmm.
growth was written into the
Mm-hmm.
plot. So I'm not mad. I'm not
Yeah.
mad. I wasn't, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. I have thoughts on Jang. Um, I mean, pretty simplistic thoughts. I didn't really like him. He was like the only character that I didn't really like.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did not like his attitude, first off.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was very rude,
Yeah.
generally very like stuck up, especially towards Moo.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't like when he started to come on to what's his name? Um
Pios.
Pyros,
Pios.
yeah.
I did not like when he started to come on to him because I was like, who are you? Get out of here. Like Evil Louis.
That's
I
not
called
your
him
Evil
path.
Louis.
Louis.
I called him Evil Louis.
Also, it was like you literally confronted Kang about his relationship with Moo, but then he turned
Mm-hmm.
around and was like flirting with Pios. I'm like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
what does your
Double
contract say?
standards. Yeah.
He was just like so hypocritical, and like I also don't understand why he was part of the group. Like, because I thought that he was like supposed to be mentoring them, but
Yeah.
then it was that he was like curating his own idol group that he was going to be a part of, and it just like
Yeah.
it felt
That's a little
so
bit
like
weird.
it felt so weird. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I
I
agree. I
All
agree.
of it combined, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
It
know.
the show would have worked, like the plot would have worked with just him as a mentor as well. Like they didn't need to
Yeah,
put him in the group.
I don't understand why he was in the group. I don't know. It felt very out of place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I liked Neth. I really liked Neth too.
Yeah.
Neth was
Milk
so
was amazing in this.
okay.
I need a GL with Milk being Nath.
My my gripe with this show is that at the end they did this whole thing of having Force make a cameo so
Okay.
that they could do like the little Force book hint, but then they like tried to hint at setting Neth up with Jang when they I was like, where was
Yes.
Love's cameo? Like, why didn't you have a Love? Especially because
Yes.
Neth was giving very much sapphic vibes. Like her whole aesthetic
Yeah,
was very
100%.
and I was like,
Mhm.
where's Love's cameo at the end to hint at the relationship
Mhm.
there too? Like why couldn't they have the meet cute with the
Like,
little Force book
dude,
cameo?
they could just stand beside each other. People would be happy with that. Like, just give it to us.
No, for real. That is one of those instances where I was like, why would a man be there? Because
Literally,
Meth
why
really
did they what random, like, why did they try and like hint at those two being together? It's like the most
Mhm.
random ass,
Mm.
like, I would have rather even, I can't even remember what the cousin's name was, what Book's character's name was, but like even they had more interactions together
Shown.
than Shone. Thank you.
shown
Even
it.
Shone and Neth had more interactions together than Neth and Jang did. I was like, where did this
Mhm.
come from? But
Mhm.
I was like, we should have gotten a Force cameo and a Love cameo, because like the Force cameo
Oh
was
my
kind of
god.
cute. I'd had it spoiled for me. I saw about it on Twitter before I watched the episode, but I was like, this is cute that they did that, but we should have
Yeah.
gotten Love too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree.
Super
But
random.
yeah,
Missed opportunity.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's
absolutely.
our biggest
Gripe.
gripe with this
There
show.
was
Oh,
no Love
no, I
cameo.
have another one. I have another
Okay,
one.
okay. Go for it.
This actually is my like one gripe with the show, and it's that Shown, I feel like they shouldn't have cast Book for that
Yeah.
role
Mm,
Mm.
because I feel like he was too old to have him as a potential love interest
I do agree with
For
that.
for
Kang.
Kang.
Yeah.
Like it didn't just physically, it didn't look believable.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was
And I
giving
was
like Big Brother vibes for Kang, and it's
yeah,
just like that's a little bit weird.
I it just didn't feel believable to
Yeah,
me
I agree.
that I don't know. I don't know who else they could put in that role, but I don't know. Book like I don't know. It's like the same thing with Louis' character. Book coming on to this person. I'm like, did we need this or
Is
could
this
you have
believable?
just I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That
Hmm.
was kind of not weird, but
Yeah,
like it just
it
felt out
kind
of
of
place.
yeah, it feels out of place. It's kind of like they didn't have anyone else available, so they're just like, okay, you're close enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But
just
yeah.
didn't understand why Shone liked Kang. Like, you
I
are a
don't know.
grown man. Why are you here hitting on this 20-year-old? Like, I don't know how old his character Shone was supposed to be, but like the juxtaposition of like 18-year-old Moo, like barely an adult hitting on Kang, and also like his adult ass cousin hitting on his love
No,
interest as
it's
well, was a bit weird.
also the fact that it's his cousin doing
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
Like, why is that's just it's so bizarre. Like,
I
I
was
would
a
feel so
bit
uncomfortable.
like when it, because like they had this whole, and like Moo was like the mature one in this situation. Like when he first realized that
Mhm.
Shone had feelings for Kang, he was like, okay, let's talk about this because you're my cousin and we need to discuss this. And then
Mhm.
Shone was like, no, don't worry, I won't hit on him. And then like the
Mhm.
flash forward happened and Shone was like trying to shoot his
Definitely
shot.
hitting on him.
I'm like,
They
Shone,
were
why are you
hanging
being
out.
shady?
Whoosh.
Why are you being shady towards your teenage cousin?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I don't
But
Ah,
know.
dude.
it
Yeah.
was a bit weird. I think, yeah, I think
Yeah.
Shone as a character and like his whole love line with Kang was probably my main gripe with the series.
Yeah.
But I also like did not take away from my enjoyment of it. I was just kind of like,
Mm.
okay, I don't know why we're doing this, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah,
suspend belief. Yeah.
I mean, Book
exactly.
is, I loved seeing Book, so like I wasn't mad to see him on the screen, but it was also just like, why are you playing, like you said, like why are
It's
you playing
yeah,
this character?
it's the nature of it.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yep.
But of course, yeah. Otherwise,
Yeah.
like banging OST,
Yeah.
Oh my
every
god,
song
Louis' OST,
I yeah, Louis'
Like
OST
so
is
good.
like
good.
every frame, like just like every setting they're in, and just the colors around, and just everything was just so nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's super comparable to My School President, but I think it gave me similar feelings. And I also
Mm.
like that, similar to My School President, like the music was worked into the show in a way that made
Mhm.
sense. Like the OSTs, because Moo was trying to be an idol and then eventually debuted in an idol group, like the OSTs fit very naturally into the show. The performances of the songs fit very naturally into the show. And so I think it made like the music more of an integral part of the series, which that aspect obviously is similar to My School President. Um, and so obviously I really love the My School President OST, and I've been playing the Only Boo one a lot even now since the show
Mm,
ended. So yeah, I like when, like, if you're gonna do OSTs and like have the cast sing OSTs, I like it when they're like integrated into the story. And granted, that doesn't
Yeah.
work in every story because not every story is about musicians, but I just
mhm.
like when it kind of works out that way, that it feels like a natural part of the show.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So yeah. So and if you're listening to this and you haven't watched it, you need to go and watch it, Heather.
I was just gonna say that.
Why? You don't need to call me out like that. Tell everyone I haven't watched it.
It just fit in so well. Okay, sorry. No, but I firmly believe that everyone should watch it, and even if you haven't
Me
watched it yet
too.
and had heard all the spoilers that we've been giving, it's still worth watching because
Yeah.
it we can't describe how good it actually is to watch.
It's just a fun show. It's a fun,
Yeah,
feel good show. And I know, like, not everyone vibes with, like, the youthful romance shows anymore. I get it. A lot of people
I
want more
usually
complex
don't.
writing. But I
Hmm.
feel like the character writing here really just, like, carries the show. And the characters are so enjoyable to watch. It's fun to
Yeah,
watch. The romance is
yeah,
cute. And the songs are good. Like,
yeah,
what more do you want?
yeah. At this point, I think this is like my favorite show this year.
Damn. I would say
Wow.
Mm.
it's up there for me as well. I don't know if it's my favorite, but I enjoyed it a lot. Um, yeah. Any other
Mm.
thoughts before we give our ratings? No. Alrighty
No.
then. What would you rate it out of 5?
5.
I saw that coming.
Yeah.
I mean, no, really though. Like if Pixie is rating the romcom BL
Fluffy
GMMTV BL a 5 out
high
of 5,
school.
like
That's unprecedented.
Yeah,
truly.
it literally is.
No, yeah, I think I would say probably I would say 4.5. Like I think it's a really really good show. Um I think like I said, I think Shone was a little bit unnecessary and I didn't love what they did there, but I think everything else about the show is makes up for it, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching it each week, and it definitely brought all the feels that I wanted from it. So yeah, I would go with
Mhm.
a 4.5 out of 5.
Mhm. I was gonna say 4.5 as well because the same thing with I didn't really understand like what they're trying to do with Shon's character, but the rest of it was so good. Like
Mhm.
from the first episode, I was really impressed with seeing Keen's acting,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
considering they're so young. Like it's very
Mm-hmm.
comparable to
Yeah.
how Gemini and Fourth
I
were
agree.
Mhm.
very young when they started. I thought it was really good. I think the comedic timing and just like the dialogue, like the actual script, I
Mm-hmm.
think is really good, really
Mhm.
well written. The jokes really well written. It was so
It's
funny.
generally a really funny show. Like I
Like
laughed out loud a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
the like editing with the comedy, I think was also really good too.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Um and then of course like I love the music aspect. All of the songs instantly went on my playlist.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I thought about giving it a 5, but I think it's the thing with Shone and maybe Louis' character a little, I'm like, but still, like, so worth it to watch. I think everyone should watch it, and it's definitely
Mhm.
one of my favorites this year.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, I don't know if this will be out before our next episode, but we went on a whole battle about Kang as like the best BL boy
And I
in our
believe it.
recent podcast episode. So if that doesn't like Kang, they're both best BL boys, honestly, but like truly just such good characters to watch and a fun show to watch. I don't know what else to say. Like 100% should be
Yep.
viewing it. So yeah, that is
Yep.
going to be all for this month's review. Whether you're watching on Patreon or on YouTube, be sure to drop a comment and let us know what you thought about Only Boo, or reach out to us on our social media to discuss it. As we always say, all of our reviews are voted on by our patrons, so they get to choose what show we review, and they also get access to them a month before they go out on YouTube. So if you're interested in choosing what we review and seeing it a bit sooner than the general public, you can consider joining our Patreon. It's also a great way to support the podcast, so we really appreciate anyone who would consider that. But yeah, thank you for tuning into this month's review, and we will see you guys again next month. Bye bye.